To all our online participants, it is a great honor to welcome you to the second session of the 2022 Global Innovation Seoul Forum and Green Smart Development Vision Conference, GISF and GSDV 2022. My name is Lincoln Kithandi from Seoul National University ITPP program. It is an honor and delight to be serving as your moderator for session 2 on sustainable urban development in Asia. On behalf of Seoul National University and KAIST, I appreciate your taking your precious time to join us. To commence this session, I would like to invite Mr. Jong Ho. He is the first Secretary, Infrastructure and Transport, Ministry of the Republic of Korea to ASEAN. Mr. Jong Ho will deliver an online presentation on smart city strategy in Korea. Please give a warm welcome to Mr. Jong Ho.
This is Jong Ho, and nice to meet you. I'm very pleased to introduce smart city policy and strategy in Korea to all of you. Content will be 4 sections. First, why smart cities? Second, what is a smart city? Third, smart city strategy. Lastly, K-city networks. Why smart cities? This is rapid urbanization and consequent to social problems. According to the UN, by 2050, the world's population will grow from 5 billion to 9 billion, with the urbanization rate reaching up to 70%, maybe. You can see percentage urban and city population. Above 80% of urban is represented by blue, and 10 million or more is circle of purple. As population and resource consumption are concentrated in cities due to rapid urbanization, various social programs such as fine dust, traffic congestion, water shortage, disaster safety, crime and housing insecurity are intensifying, posing a major threat to the city's sustainability. There can be a wide range of social programs like that. What is a smart city? Smart technologies can solve urban problems such as lack of infrastructure and industrial decline. It enables reasonable space utilization, efficient city management, and vibrant industry activities. Smart city is a sustainable city that creates urban value with these smart technology. It is a very flexible concept regarding the economy, society, policy, and urbanization degree of country that embraced it. In case of developed countries, private sector will be a leader on purpose to respond to climate change and urban regeneration. However, in case of developing countries, public sector will be a leader to respond to urban issues and economic development for national competitiveness. It is a kind of smart city model presented via a graphic. Smart city is a multi-layered and multi-dimensional platform to support the social and economic activities of a city, such as mobility, environment, public safety, living and welfare, economy, and energy. Smart city outlook. Market is now growing from $312 billion to $760 billion. High demand services such as transportation, energy, ICT, and well-being and safety. Smart city strategy. A key to success is customization. We should do that. Cities need to develop their own strategy and solutions that reflect the conditions and needs of each city. I hope I will introduce Korean definition. Korea defines smart city as a platform to improve the quality of life for citizens, enhance the sustainability of cities, and foster new industries by utilizing innovative technology of the first industrial revolutionary era. Technology innovation will develop platform for new industries, quality of citizens' life, and sustainability of cities. The vision of smart city is like that: quality of life, inclusive smart city, and innovation ecosystem. Third, smart city strategy. This is the history of urban development in Korea. Smart city construction from the 2000s. In the 1960s, post-war restoration growth priority policies. In the 1970s, introducing an apartment-centered housing culture. In the 1980s, large-scale urban development. In the 1990s, development of the first generation new towns in the Seoul metropolitan area. Urbanization rate above 80%, 85%. After 2000, development of the second generation new towns with smart city elements. Urbanization rate above 90%. With rapid economic growth and rapid urbanization, the UCT brand combining advanced technologies such as the ICT was introduced in the early 2000s. Enactment of the UCT legislation was in 2008. In 2017, it was revised as the Smart City Act. Smart City Solutions was applied as traffic, crime prevention, environment, and energy. Strengths of Korea's smart city. Korea is competitive in world-class information and communication infrastructure. For example, the world's highest internet penetrate rate and so on. Second, smart city element technology like smart architecture, plant sector, road traffic, and water resources. Korea has a competitive urban development model that combines in-depth development know-how and advanced smart city technologies. Korea has various smart city projects underway nationwide. New smart city policy was announced in 2018. Korea, especially, Korea is now creating national pilot smart cities like Greenfield, 2 test beds. Sejong is the first and second is Busan. Sejong, new governing city will improve citizens' everyday life throughout 7 different innovative factors that include mobility and healthcare. Second, Busan. Busan strives to be a cutting-edge waterfront city throughout 10 innovative factors such as robotics, water management, and energy. Sejong's case, 7 areas up to innovation, mobility, healthcare, and so on. This is Busan's case. Except that regarding existing city, there are so many smart challenge projects. Smart city technology related companies are actively incorporating the needs of local governments and citizens to provide them with smart solutions. This is foundation for integrated platform. Established the integrated operation center for various information, including traffic and crime prevention, and disseminated the smart city integrated platform, which is the underlying software. Smart city safety net are like that. In order to build a foundation for smart city, Korea has implemented innovative growth engine R&D in Daegu and Siheung since 2018. There are used case type program serving, common technology development, living lab type business creation. This is data-based urban management, promoting the distribution of smart city data hubs capable of convergence and analysis of various city data using the integrated platform infrastructure of public safety service centered on CCTV footage management. This is creative and innovation ecosystem. Using regulatory sandbox, we are applying for a mechanism for granting temporary waivers to businesses for new technology testing and pilot service introduction. Industrial ecosystem. To foster industrial ecosystem throughout supporting the growth of SMEs and startups, active support is provided to young entrepreneurs in finding market for their business. I want to introduce digital twin. Digital twin is like this. It is virtual replication of a city to test and verify urban solutions before application. Left side is real cities, while the right side is virtual cities, which is simulation and data analysis using AI and big data and 3D map. Using to build 3D spatial data, we can apply for construction simulation, sunlight effect simulation, landscape analysis, and road construction simulation. This is autonomous vehicles. In 2018, we made the infra and system development for AV commercialization. In 2020, there was a launch of automated driving. Korea introduced level 3 AV cars to expressways. In 2024, we are planning to spread automated driving, which is level 4. Now, government is supporting and helping businesses to focus on innovation to create a public-private partnership on infrastructure development, to fund technology development, and to establish a smart road, including a precision GPS. Last one, wide K city network. Straight for smart city export. Korean smart city is a full package approach that combines urban development know-how, world-class IT technology, sophisticated institutions, and government support. This is to establish a global network. To promote Korean smart city around the world, G2G projects are being carried out throughout K-City network, open call in 10 cities in 10 countries. This is 2022 K-City network project selection. This is 5 different kinds of smart city planning. These are smart solution plannings for 3 different countries. And you can see there are smart solution demonstrations for 2 countries, Thailand, Indonesia. Now, there are 33 K-City network projects in 21 different countries. There are smart city cooperation centers in 5 countries, such as Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand, Turkey, and Saudi Arabia. This is for example to export to smart city technology. Newtown export to Kuwait like that. This is the first export case. Concept is introduction of smart energy, smart environment, smart transport, and smart living technology to improve quality of living and boost project competitiveness. Korea supports drafting a master plan to Kalyan Dombivli Smart New City in India. The first Korea-Indian cooperation project under which Korea supports drafting of 10 smart city development plan. This is Santa Cruz case. Korea supports Santa Cruz new city in Bolivia to make waste treatment, energy facilities, and ITS. Amazing company LG CNS actively exports smart city elements such as the ICT card system. You can see transport card system like pictures. This is smart trash clean cube. Smart trash clean cube is also a kind of smart city solution export. You can see the pictures, example of optimal waste collection paths, and so we can make a smart trash can clean cube. This is all I presented today. This is all I prepared today. And thank you very much for listening to me. Keep a useful conference. Thank you.
Please give a big round of applause for Mr. Jong. For the next presentation, I would like to invite Mr. Chris Gennaro. He's the SDGs Program Officer at CityNet. Mr. Chris Gennaro will deliver his presentation on city network-led sustainable urban development through the cluster approach. Please give a warm welcome to Mr. Chris.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for the warm welcome. It's actually a great honor to be here presenting here at Seoul National University next to Professor Huang. And I'm going to be giving you an overview of my organization, CityNet. Essentially is a network of cities located in the Asia Pacific region. Although there is an opportunity and space for cities and other organizations outside of Asia to actually take part in CityNet and join. So this will be a chance to learn about that. And I want to tell you about kind of our unique cluster approach. So here you can see just a month ago, we actually had our Congress in Kuala Lumpur. CityNet is a UN-style international organization where we have a Congress every 4 years where we enact the legislative agenda. We change the direction that our organization is going in and sort of choose the orientation that our network of cities is going to take for the next 4 years. And this year in Kuala Lumpur, we focused a lot on inclusivity and also these kind of emerging technologies that we're going over today. You can see here, Professor Huang actually joined in Kuala Lumpur, and he's speaking here at our General Council. So the Congress consists of an executive committee meeting, which is a group of our leader cities and organizations who kind of determine legislative priorities for the network. And then after that is followed by a General Council meeting where essentially any member of CityNet is invited to join. It's a very big UN-style kind of conference setup. They're invited to speak and talk about the midterm plan for the next 4 years. And then following that, what they do is they actually elect the next office bearers and the next executive committee, the president city, the secretary general. We have a secretary general just like the UN. What you see here is Professor Huang was really excited to, just as he joined CityNet this year, really excited to connect CityNet with cities within Asia and also outside of Asia. And he jumped into it really quickly. And then you can see our CEO also giving a speech as well. So CityNet was actually founded in 1987. So we just celebrated our 35th anniversary. Is anyone here in the room under 35 years old? Anyone perhaps? Okay. Less hands than I expected, but it's good. So you can see that CityNet's been in operation for a really long time. You can sort of tell that since CityNet was established by kind of a coalition of UN agencies, and also these 26 cities signed the declaration establishing CityNet, you can see that actually from a long time ago, they understood the priority that Asian cities were urbanizing at an unprecedented rate, and that urban problems would be a big issue to come. During the late 80s was still kind of the Cold War period, where cooperation and even just communication between different cities in the region was kind of stilted or difficult. So CityNet played an important role to kind of bridge those gaps. Mostly what we were doing was kind of a north-south developmental assistance, almost in the same way that you see that Korea is still trying to transfer its smart city technologies to developing cities around the world. But nowadays we've sort of transitioned to also a south-south cooperation and triangular cooperation between cities in the north or south, developing, whatever you want to say. And we can see sort of the platform that we have to enable that type of cooperation. So one simple way to explain what CityNet is, it's kind of like a member-driven platform for sustainable urban development. Sustainable development has sort of been our overarching goal for the past few decades. What we do is we actually, since we have so many members, over 160 members, we cluster our members into different groups. So we have a climate change cluster, disaster cluster, and also an SDGs cluster. And what do I mean by member-driven platform? So it's kind of like any other platform you might be a part of, or you might understand in technology terms, like a social networking platform. You can set up programs and structure, but it really essentially is meaningless without your members or your user base. So we are sort of propelled by our members to show how we're going to operate and what sort of problems we're going to focus on and try to solve. So right now you can see sort of a map of our membership around the region, and essentially where they fall. Most of our members are in East and Northeast Asia, Southeast Asia, and also Southwest Asia primarily. There's some things you want to take account of here. CityNet has a president city, which happens to be Seoul. So I work at the Secretariat. That's where the Secretariat is located. It's sort of a group of Seoul Metropolitan Government officers and also other program officers who direct the network, and we're led by a Secretary General. We used to be based in Yokohama. Actually, the last time that the current mayor of Seoul, Mayor Oh, was the mayor, CityNet came from Yokohama to Seoul, but we still do have a Yokohama project office. And we've also recently set up another office in Japan, the CityNet Plus Art Center for Creative Partnerships, and I'll talk a little bit about the work that they're doing soon. We also have 2 vice president cities. One is Makati City, which is part of Metro Manila in the Philippines, and the other is Kuala Lumpur. So as I explained, we have a Secretary General. The current one is Mr. Vijay Jaganathan. He's an urban planning policy expert. Previous to him, we had Miss Mary Jane Ortega, who used to be the mayor of Santa Rosa in the Philippines. And then prior to her, we had Datu Lakbir Singh, who is from Penang. And also here you can see we have our executive committee members who they rotate every 4 years, as I said. Really, any member of CityNet can be voted into the executive committee. And these 9 members including also our vice president city and our president city, kind of direct the programming and the direction that CityNet goes in. And since it's kind of flexible, it's really quite interesting to see how more flexible we can be than some other institutions every couple of years. So one thing that makes CityNet really unique is that we have full members and associate members. To be a full member of CityNet, you need to be a city that's located in the Asia Pacific region. And every member of CityNet pays a membership fee each year, which is calculated fairly based on the city's population size and also your GDP. Now, where kind of things get interesting is the associate members. So associate members can include civil society organizations such as NGOs, think tanks, educational institutions such as SNU, GRC, also corporate members as well. And it can also include cities that are located outside of the Asia Pacific. So if you're from Europe, or if you're from Africa, or if you're from the Americas and you are a city official, your city can actually join CityNet, and it's kind of a gateway to work with cities that are located in Asia Pacific. Just as the UN noticed that Asia was rapidly urbanizing and that a lot of the focus of the world would be in Asia, your city, even if you're not located here, can work with Asian cities through our network. If Asian cities survive and prosper, then the rest of the world also can survive and prosper due to just the amount of urbanization, the amount of people that are living here now and that will live in here in the future. And the membership fee is comparably really, really cheap. If you want to be an associate member, you really can't lose. These are some examples of our full and associate members, cities on the left, and other types of institutions on the right, including the Think City in Malaysia. They do really good educational programming around cities. We have NSET, which is a group in Nepal which works on disaster relief, specifically earthquakes. And they are a really, really active group within CityNet to help our disaster cluster. I'll skip this, but we do primarily a lot of capacity building workshops each year. This is sort of an example of a non-pandemic year, the type of programming that we do. Essentially what we try to do is throughout the year, hold a lot of capacity building activities with members from all different kind of regions to learn about very specific problems and solutions that are common to the cities in our network. A lot of times it can involve study visits. So if you're sponsored to join some of these capacity building workshops, you'll be traveling around the region and you'll get to meet people from other city governments, share best practices, go on site visits, and kind of build connections that can last decades. I'm not going to go back, but if you go back to some of the cities that were our founding members in 1987, a number of them are still CityNet members, and they benefited a lot from their membership here. One of the really inspiring moments from our Congress was after the executive committee was reinstated, they had another meeting. There was a very kind of inspiring exchange between Lalitpur in Nepal and Colombo in Sri Lanka. Lalitpur was talking about how they were trying to deal with an outbreak of dengue fever, and Colombo jumped in. These are the mayors of both cities, by the way. Colombo jumped in with over a handful of solutions that she knew right off the top of her head that they could implement to curb the spread of dengue fever. These are just some pictures of capacity building activities. I think one of these is in Seoul, Topis, the transportation sort of brain of Korea. So the first cluster I can explain to you is the climate change cluster. So obviously climate change is an emerging threat, a problem that we see all over the world. And it affects not only those cities in our network that are in tropical regions, but also temperate regions. Our lead is actually Jakarta, and we have co-leads in Quezon City, Ahmedabad Study Action Group in India, the Human and Environment Links Progressive Organization, which is located in Sri Lanka, and then International Climate and Development Institute, which is located in Taipei. So this is one of our biggest focuses, and we have a lot of Actually, the main way that you can get involved in climate change cluster is every year we have an event called the Climate Leadership Program. It's kind of a big workshop. It's been held online for the past few years, but soon it will not be. It'll be offline. And it's an event that invites a lot of experts in climate change to share best practices. And this is here. This is a picture from Denpasar. So yeah, basically peer-to-peer exchange best practices, which is kind of the point of our organization in a nutshell. One thing for climate change, what we want to do is we really want to work on our strengths. We want to sort of pool our resources to create a long-standing platform for exchange. And we're interested in sort of working on models and testing their feasibility in the long run. Because some models, they work really well in some cities, but we want to test their replicability rate among other cities in our network. The next cluster I can introduce to you is our disaster cluster. And this is also something that is becoming really, really important in the region. We sort of consider our disaster cluster as led by kind of an all-star group of cities and organizations that have various degrees of specialization in disaster. So they're led by Makati City from the Philippines, and also co-led by a whole group of cities that have different challenges when it comes to disaster, including earthquakes, flooding, and all sorts of new ways of disaster. And the scary thing about disaster clusters is that our cities are sort of experiencing disasters they've never really had to prepare for before. One thing just last week, I believe, is a Sidoarjo Regency, which is close to Surabaya in Indonesia. They just had their first tornado, and they were really shocked by this experience that tore through their city. And they're worried that now they have to include tornado disaster planning in their yearly plans. Even cities that are very developed like Seoul have experienced a lot of flooding. If you've been here the past spring, you saw how bad the flooding can get. And even though we have the infrastructure, we still need to do better because the rain's not going to let up. And another thing about disaster is even if you have all the technology and the data and the smart city infrastructure, if you don't integrate that into city planning, into budgeting and stuff, it's kind of useless when a real disaster can occur. So we consider also overpopulation a big threat as more and more people live in our cities and are sort of all living on top of each other. There's ways to track overpopulation, such as the living population mapping, which is sort of gained by credit card transactions in a city or through Metro card transactions. You can see where the most people are sort of flowing in between city districts, but you need to integrate that to make sure that people can be safe. Some of our ambitions in disaster, like I said, we have a lot of know-how between our disaster leaders, and we sort of need to just integrate that into kind of a unique platform that we can spread to the cities that are newly experiencing these new disasters that are fresh for them and scary for them. We want to be the ones who come to them with solutions. And one big thing for DRR is we want to integrate creativity, inclusiveness, to get the whole society involved, to leave no one behind. The CityNet Plus Arts Center in Japan that have been doing a lot of really interesting programming with school children and the entire society to create kind of these trained disaster response experts at all levels of society to know what to do in case of a fire or an earthquake, that kind of thing. And they've also been expanding their programming into places like Nepal, teaching school children over there, which has been a really actually very successful program. The last cluster we have is this Sustainable Development Goals cluster. It's led by Seoul, and it's led by Yokohama, and it's led by Kuala Lumpur. So these are what we consider sort of Asia Pacific's leading knowledge centers for the SDGs. And we will also be opening a new office in Kuala Lumpur, a CityNet office. So we will sort of have a central office in Seoul, Yokohama, and Kuala Lumpur by the end of next year to integrate SDGs and other programming in our cities. Now, The main way that Seoul actually contributes to the SDGs is through the Urban SDG Knowledge Platform, which is actually at CityNet. This is what I sort of focus on. This platform was established 2017. There was a big SDGs forum for urban policy and sustainable development here in Seoul. And this was sponsored by SCAP and the Seoul Metropolitan Government, and of course, CityNet, to sort of share best practices, to learn, and also, of course, replicate cities' best practices between cities. So if you scan this dinosaur, you can go to the website, and you can also just search it on Google, quite easy. The main goals and mission is, when it was first established, it was thought of as kind of a city-fed policy repository. So currently there's over 400 different case studies in our policy repository. And it was to promote knowledge sharing, city to city cooperation, not just north-south, rich countries or developed countries giving to lesser developed countries, but actual cooperation between all of them. And also the localization of SDGs, because you can think of the SDGs as kind of a recipe or kind of an overarching framework, but actually to implement the SDGs in local context, you need to consider how you kind of localize them. Just like if you watch a movie from a foreign country and you're reading the subtitles are not literal translations of what is being said, but is actually localized for your own understanding. So you need to do the same thing with the Sustainable Development Goals. This is the front page of our platform. And really anyone can join the platform. It's free, CityNet members especially. And there are various incentives to upload case studies, such as you get official UN recognition of SDGs implementation. Once you've uploaded your case studies, you can actually join localization workshops, and your case can be featured in those workshops. You can also learn how localizable or replicatable your case actually is. And you'll also be featured in some of our online programming. This is an example of what a case study looks like. Each case study follows the same general pattern, which is basically you share the background and challenges that your city faced, the objectives of your program, clear implementation steps so others can follow you, the beneficial outcomes, and also you need to talk about the replicability. Also, it's really good if you indicate which SDGs or themes your program or project is targeting. We also have a couple tools on our platform. The first is the SDG Navigator for cities. Basically, we worked with some experts at Yonsei University to take the SDGs and combine them into these 10 tests. These are themes down here in the bottom, to measure actually how far your city has come in localizing specific SDGs. So as you take a test in, say, poverty or social inclusion, you can sort of get some readouts based on your progress from 0 to the maximum value. And then not only do you get that, you also get your percentage of each SDG that's been localized in your city. And then it also breaks it down by sub-goal. So this is really interesting. And if you don't know, all SDGs have actually sub-goals that are much more targeted, and you can get a clearly outlined note of your progress. And then if you click on a certain sub-goal, it'll also recommend which case studies from our database you can look to actually improve in that area. So here we have poverty 1.1. This person's city has a score of 1, not very good, and it's recommending these types of case studies for their city to try. And this really is the first and only sort of test of its kind, which measures SDG localization in cities. We also have a toolkit on localization of urban practices. And essentially what this is a tool to help city officials know how replicatable or how localizable one practice from one city is to another city. It breaks this down by the nature of the project, the stakeholders involved in the project, resources, institutional framework, and then project environment. And you do a simple test based on how likely or unlikely these factors on the case study would apply to your city. And once you've done it, you get a nice readout as well of how much this solid waste management case study in this example would apply to your city. So they got a 76, which is pretty good. How much more time do I have? Are we looking short? Yeah, okay. So I'll wrap up. We also have some online course coming out soon, which will be free for CityNet members, another incentive to join. So how can you get involved with CityNet? You can join us as a full or associate member. As I explained, if you're located outside of Asia Pacific, you can still be an associate member. You can join the cluster grant program. Once you become a CityNet member, you can actually apply for grants to do projects and receive funding. So numerous members will get this each year. You can also join CityNet workshops and trainings, even if you're not a member. So they're really geared toward people like you, experts in the field. You can also join the SDG knowledge platform that I just explained to you. You can upload a case study. You can try out the toolkit, and you can even try a self-guided course. Now, if you want to come next year, to Bali, where our executive committee meeting is going to be, we will introduce all new CityNet members there. So please join us in Bali. Please get involved in CityNet. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chris Gennaro, for the wonderful presentation. Please give him a round of applause. And now, for the last presentation of this session, I would like to invite Mr. Priadi Wibawa. He's the Vice President in Smart City Ecosystem Development Team, Wholesale Solution Division, PT Bag Negara, Indonesia. Mr. Priadi Wibawa will give his presentation on BNI Smart City Ecosystem and Integrated Digital Solution for Smart City. Please give a warm welcome to Mr. Priadi Wibawa.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's such a great honor for me to meet you all. First of all, allow me to send my deepest condolences for those who lost their loved ones in Itaewon incidents a few days ago. Secondly, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Priadi. I currently work at Bank Negara Indonesia as VP of Smart City Ecosystem. Today, I will share you about Smart City solution using digital ecosystem approach that already implemented by BNI. As we know, almost all cities in the world face the same problem, which include overpopulation, housing problems, water and sanitation problems, transportation problems, disposal of trash, urban crime, etc. As stated by Professor Suhono, he is president of Smart City Indonesia Initiative Association. I've heard that he also joined with us in this session. Salam, Pak Suhono. He said that ICT or digital solution can help cities to reach the smart city goals, like increasing transparency and effectiveness of city management, providing better public services, and improving the welfare of its citizens. This is because the complexity of urban problems is growing rapidly, which cannot be overcome by using conventional solutions. Cities need innovative solutions that can increase the scalability of the impact. Although it's not the only enabler needed, ICT can be a potential enabler that drives the creation of innovative solutions that have higher impact and scalability. In response to this, our President Joko Widodo has issued a decree to establish a task force to accelerate the implementation of electronic transaction to increase the quality, governance, and transparency of city government by integrating the system with the banking financial system. respond to this directive, BNI as a state-owned bank has the responsibility to assist the government in realizing smart cities. For your information, BNI is an Indonesia state-owned bank that already established since 1946. Currently, BNI is the fourth largest bank in Indonesia. BNI has 195 domestic branches spread across 34 provinces in Indonesia, plus 6 overseas branches in Singapore, Hong Kong, Tokyo, New York, London, and Seoul. BNI has implemented open banking services, that is API-based digital services, which can be accessed by any corporates, e-commerce, fintech, startups, universities, other state-owned companies, government institution, ministry offices, etc. This service can be accessed for sandboxing via https digitalservices.bni.co.id. BNI Open API platform provides more than 280 API services and can be used by various parties to integrate their products or solution with banking services. Currently, BNI API services already used by more than 4,000 partners from various industries. This services has already received global recognition, as evidenced by several awards received by BNI from international institutions. These services has also received positive testimonial from several clients who use it. You can see in this slide several types of API services that we provided, such as VA e-collection. This API is used for collecting payment using virtual account, or one gate payment, or OGP is a service for paying bills to other parties using inter-account or interbank transfer. And there's many more API services that we serve. These API services can be utilized by a digital solution provider partner or startups that provide a specific solution to a particular ecosystem to provide integrated solution with BNI financial transaction features and banking services. This integrated solution can be used by the ecosystem key player to digitalize their business process, to improve their process efficiencies, and it can be used to digitalize their customer experience, to improve their service quality to their internal or external customers. And it also can be used to digitalize interaction with their business partners to improve their quality of business process with the partners. For example, when this solution is implemented in the healthcare ecosystem, BNI collaborates with partners who provide hospital management information system to digitalize the hospital business process management. And we provide a front-end application for patient and doctors or medical staff to facilitate a better communication between the patients and the doctor with the hospital. And we also provide an ordering system to help the hospital to order medicine to the suppliers, or an insurance claim system to facilitate the hospital to collect patient payments from the insurance company. All solutions provided by our partner, once again, must be integrated with the BNI's digital transaction products and banking services. Using the same approach, BNI has initiated a solution for several other ecosystems, such as education ecosystem, agriculture ecosystem, fisheries, tourism, SMEs business ecosystem, industrial estate ecosystem, etc. From the smart city point of view, these ecosystem solutions can be implemented in a city scale to improve services to the community who use the ecosystem. The data obtained from each ecosystem can be presented to the government to improve services to its citizen. The city government itself can take advantage of the solution provided to improve the quality and transparency of government, especially those related to the financial management. As an example for smart ecosystem solution that BNI collaborates with partners can fulfill several elements in smart city management, including smart city government, smart city economy, smart living or smart society, smart mobility, smart environment, etc. As an example, for smart city governments, local government's ICT system can be integrated with the BNI API services to help improve the speed and quality of collection and payment process. Also to increase the transparency of local government financial management. For smart environment, BNI provide a digital account service that integrated with the waste bank system to provide a circular economy solution for FMCG or R&B companies that has an obligation to absorb at least 30% of their waste. This solution also digitize informal waste collectors and revolutionize collection system, and provide free recycling services to the community with a collection incentive for the household that deposit the waste and for the collectors. For a smart transportation ecosystem, for example, BNI provides several digital payments using card-based e-money or QR payment that can be integrated with a transportation management system that used in the buses, trains, or other public transportation vehicles to improve the quality and comfort of public transportation facilities. Implementation of these ecosystem solutions in the city can bring benefits both of the government and the community. For the government, the solution can create a good governance in financial management and public services, create integrated community services that are free of illegal fees, create a fast and transparent receipt of regional tax and retribution, and increase regional tax and retribution. For the community and or citizen, the solution can increase public trust, increase simplicity, transparency, and speed of public service, increase ease of tax and retribution payment, and in the end, it can increase public satisfaction. Last slide, as a summary, I can say that although not the only enabler, digitalization can help develop innovation that drive the acceleration of smart city development. BNI, as a state-owned bank, has the responsibility to assist the government in the smart city development program in Indonesia. BNI has developed various digital products and services based on open API that can be integrated with partner solution to become several specific ecosystem solution. This ecosystem solution can be implemented in cities and districts to accelerate smart city implementation. That's all for my presentation. Thanks very much for your great attention. Thank you very much. Kamsahamnida.